Okay, well, welcome. Today is December 18th. This is the Addison Township Board meeting at 6 o'clock, and we're located at 1440 North Rochester Road in Addison Township. If we could all stand for the pledge, please. We have any veterans here? Any veterans? Okay, then I'll start. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please keep standing.
Thank you, God, for this wonderful day you've given to us, for the Christmas season and sending your son down. Help us to enjoy it, see our family, and have a great time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, we'll now start the meeting. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Erickson.
Here.
Lindiger. Present. Joe King. He might still be here. Jacob Newby.
Here.
Lori Fisher. Here. Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Present. Okay. Any announcements?
No.
Petitions?
No.
Department reports, as usual, available in my office, or see my deputy supervisor make those available to you. Approval of the agenda.
I'd like to add, due to the time constraints, number 6, and it would be extend OPC enrollment until 12/31/17 and reimbursement request submitted by January 5th, 2018 as number 6.
I'll support. Did you move?
Sure, I'll move that.
Okay, and we have support. Any comments on that? Okay, could we have a roll call, please?
Lindiger.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to consent agenda.
Yes, we have a lengthy consent this time, and I'm not going to read all of the numbers, but November 20th minutes, bills as paid for November 2017, authorization to renew the Michigan Municipal League, Michigan MMRMA agreement for 218 and 219 as our insurance carrier, and approve the payments for $53,000. Resolution authorizing participation in No-Haz with Jacob Newby as our township representative. Clinton River Watershed Council 2018 dues for $500.
Okay, any comments? A motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll support.
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead, Lori.
And we have a motion and support. There's no further comment. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes. Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Lindiger.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, review, interview, authorize, reject, approval, landscaping agreement, and proposals. Do we have the landscaping people here? Okay. Well, which one, are you Terry?
Yes, I am.
You're Terry from Superior Landscape. Is there Laura here too? Okay. Well, I'll just go through a little bit. We did advertise for the RFP and established a mailing list of out to 12 contractors. The township received 2 companies that responded for the bid process. The board approved, the township RFP was approved by the board, and now we're here to hear exactly what you guys have to offer, along with the maintenance of the landscaping. I think it would only be fair if we go with Mr. Newman first, and we'll ask Laura if that would be okay to step out, just so, and we'll do the same for you, okay? Mr. Newman, if you'd like to come forward here to the podium, and just give us a brief overview of your design, and then what everything entails with your design. Okay?
Thank you. I spent some time out here in October and reviewed the property, the areas, the 2 sides of the buildings that Pauline had in her specification for landscaping, re-landscaping. I took everything into consideration as far as the shade and what type of plants would be deer-proof around the building, The aesthetics that we took in consideration were with lots of evergreens. We have great color and texture during the winter months with the boxwood, the perennial grasses that we're installing in here, and complementing the existing plant material that's here already. We don't have to remove all of it. Some of the perennials at the main entranceway are very random, and I proposed on my quote to remove those and a little bit of transplanting with some of the daylily. Does everybody have the plan and the quotation in front of them?
I believe so. Everybody there?
Okay. Are there any questions?
Could you explain a little bit about the overhang areas where you're saying that we shouldn't really plant anything there? You're proposing something totally different.
Yes, I'm a little concerned with the overhang on each side of the sidewalk with planting anything immediately underneath that. It's high enough where I believe the plants will do fair. They're not going to do as well as if we planted outside of that drip line. So my proposal is to plant outside of that drip line, and on the inside, we would use the oversized cobblestone to cover that up, along with the oversized cobblestone being used at each one of the downspout areas so it would disperse that water and not erode the soil or the mulch that would go in the rest of the planting beds.
So you're widening that area a little bit for landscaping,
Yes.
kind of.
Yes, that is correct. Which aesthetically, to open that up a little bit, and instead of planting right underneath, kind of feel you would be in a tunnel, so open it up a little bit, make it a little more grand of an entranceway. The cobblestone and the boxwood hedge in combination would allow us to do that, make it a little more grand of an entranceway.
If the board goes with you, when do you anticipate to start and finish the job?
There's only about 2 days worth of work here, and we could start as early as the 1st of April is our typical starting date in the springtime.
And just to make sure, payment for your services would be paid upon completion of the job, is that correct?
That's correct, unless the township needs some other type terms.
No, that's kind of where it was going in the bid process, but I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice
And what
design.
was the maintenance?
The maintenance, I didn't really have any question on this maintenance, but the maintenance is once per month, April through October, $90 per visit for 1 year, and so it comes to $630 to maintain that area, correct?
Yes, per the township specification.
Yes. So you're just going to be maintaining your area that you planted?
And I could do more if you so wish.
Correct, but that's all we asked for.
That's what I proposed.
Okay, does the board have any questions?
Insurance wasn't submitted with the bid, nor was the W-9, but that's not going to be an issue, correct?
Upon signing of the contract, that can all be in your hands.
Okay.
Linda, do you have any questions?
I guess I was wondering a little bit more about the maintenance, pruning, inspections, weed control. I mean, what exactly would that be?
What would the pruning be?
Well, I know what pruning is.
Okay.
I guess as far as the maintenance, I mean, what would you be doing to come out to maintain these plants? Would you be cutting them back, spring, fall cleanups? Is there anything additional?
Whatever the specifications, Pauline, I don't recall. Off the top of my head, we'd be cleaning up the beds in the spring and the fall. In the springtime, any remaining leaf debris or other debris that are in the beds would be cleaned out. Any weeding in the fall time would be a fall cleanup. Any leaves, again, debris that would be in the planting bed during the summer months. The box would be ready for a haircut sometime in mid-June, so the shearing of the boxwood. And typically the perennial grasses we would like to leave up during the winter months, so they would be cut back in the springtime. And the hydrangeas also would be, the maintenance on the hydrangea would be deadheading those in the springtime.
Do you fertilize them or
Yeah.
anything like that?
One application of fertilizer, if we are planting in the spring, we would fertilize at the time of planting, so no other fertilizing would be necessary until the following year. So if the contract went into the following spring, then yes, we fertilize the spring of 2019. But fertilizing is done at the time of planting, which would be 2018, spring of 2018.
Thank you.
And there would be no bed edging because there's aluminum edging. Yeah, we're putting aluminum edging around all the beds, commercial grade edging in my proposal, so no bed edging, natural bed edging would be necessary because there's a metal edging in its place.
Anybody else have any questions?
Okay.
No questions? Okay. Thank you very much, and we'll hear the next proposal then, if you can.
You want me to excuse myself then?
Yeah, and just wait
Parties
outside.
afterwards where I can come back?
Oh, you're gonna come
Yeah,
back?
you're gonna come back in, yeah, we're just gonna hear the other proposal, and then you come back in, okay?
Very good, thank you.
Now we're gonna hold a party about.
So we usually send everybody down to the local bar, and then we call you back. This is gonna be pretty quick, okay?
Oh, you can ask him when he comes back.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, if you could come right up here, and just make sure I got everybody's names here. Is it Laura, is that right? Okay, hi Laura.
Hi.
Hi, if you could just,
Megan Lonsky.
okay. If you could give us a rundown, we have your map here and everything that shows what you have, and we have your proposal. Can you just kind of give us a rundown what you're proposing?
Okay, basically I put together a design with a variety of trees and shrubs and perennials. Everything's pretty low maintenance, year resistant, and will give a lot of interest throughout the seasons. It's all pretty informal, so you won't have to worry about like maintaining hedges or a lot of pruning, just like I said, all kind of informal stuff, but it'll still have pops of color throughout the seasons. So I proposed, just a few different kinds of trees, both deciduous and evergreen, different types of flowering shrubs, and then a variety of perennials just kind of throughout scattered, so you have nice height differences, color changes, and just kind of all throughout the parameters of where you guys wanted some additional landscaping done. And then just in my proposal, I know I had adjusting the existing irrigation just to allow for shrub zones. You guys have a lot of turf out there now, so you have to just make some minor adjustments to that. It's not really a huge deal. There's already obviously some plantings out there, so I have some time and materials allotted for just transplanting around, I believe it was the fire department entrance on the other side that was kind of outside our parameters, just a little something extra I included, and then just some plant mix and mulch just for the new plantings to make sure everything looks nice and is happy when it's planted, and then just a little bit of lawn restoration. Obviously, we're gonna have people working, equipment, things like that, so just to touch it up so everything's finished when it's done.
So you said that you would rearrange some of the sprinkler system that we had put in?
Yeah, you
Okay.
just would want your lawn zones on a different timer.
Okay.
Different zones than the plantings, just have different watering requirements, things like that, but
Okay. We had that donated, so, but if you guys know how to work it and everything, then we wouldn't have to call them back, right? Okay.
you take care of it.
The maintenance, could you explain the maintenance a little bit?
The maintenance, we have a whole maintenance division at United. So I had our account manager kind of take a look at your site, and he put together this proposal for you guys just to do, a cleanup in the spring, and then just your weekly mowing, trimming of the lawn, and then about, I guess, three weeks every month, some just weeding of the beds to make sure everything is, still looking nice and professional. Pruning 2 times a season, just to shape up some of the trees and things like that. Lawn fertilization, just to keep that looking sharp. And then, obviously, a fall clean up leaves and get all that everything cut down that needs to for the whole season.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Well, I kind of wondered about the maintenance part. What was listed on the detail page that you had given us is then listed as options, so I wasn't sure if it was an option or if it was included. You know, if you look at, I don't know how to identify this, so grounds maintenance service contract versus the service summary and option pages. If you could maybe clarify what.
So the options would be additional to the service summary quote. So if you don't want, you said your irrigation system was donated. If you want us to come in and start up and shut down your irrigation system every year so you don't have issues with your pipes, because obviously you have to blow water out of them, they're going to freeze and break and you're going to have irrigation issues. If you don't do that in-house, you want us to take care of it for you, that would be an additional cost. Things like that.
I think I was looking more towards where it talked about fertilizer and weed sprays and, I don't know.
Those would just be additional fertilizations for the plants. Like the wilt-proof and anti-desiccant would be something normally you would spray on like newly planted evergreens for the winter. I only have one evergreen tree, so it's probably something I would say you guys can kind of pass, but it's just something we like to offer as a service. And then same thing with burlap. A lot of times for newly planted evergreens, you want to protect them in the winter so that you don't have brown spots and dead spots in the following spring from the wind and the cold and just snow. But like I said, I don't really have a lot of evergreens on this particular design, so once again, just things we like to offer to people, but not something I think that you guys really need at this point.
Do you have other designs that you would suggest, or is this, like, if we were to go with what you're doing, this is exactly what we would?
Oh, no, I'm open to change, or if you guys have ideas or suggestions, or if there's things you like and dislike. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer really for design, so just my initial pass, I guess, at it of what I would recommend, but definitely change if you guys have other ideas.
And then I guess the other question, who cuts our grass now?
I was, I'm going to get to that.
That's Calvin.
So if we didn't do grass cutting, would that, the way it's broken down in your mowing and all that is like $13.50 a year? If we decided we weren't going to do that, would that affect your maintenance agreement since you wouldn't be coming out 27 times?
Well, you would just deduct that $13.50 from the $31.50, so. But like I said, you can kind of look at all the other options too and pick and choose what services you want us to provide you, so.
So if you put all this in and everything, and we have our own lawn maintenance, because we have other facilities they do also, so it's all lumped together. So if we maintain the lawn and everything, and we maintain the sprinkler system, because we have somebody who does do the maintenance on it as a gift to us. So if you did all that, how many times would you come then to maintain the plants, is what I'm kind of asking. You come every couple weeks, or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a variety of ways. If some people are very strict about their landscape maintenance and they want someone out every week, some people are just more of an as-needed basis, and we could, stop in monthly or just as needed to kind of check on things, make sure everything's happy and looking okay. There's not a huge amount of plant beds. I don't think you guys are gonna have a ton of like weed issues, especially with new mulch and everything, and they'll be put down to kind of control the weeds anyways. So
Okay, so,
Definitely.
so everything's kind of
Yeah.
à la carte, so as we want it, so the quotes that we have here are the actual extreme, but if like I said, we'd be cutting down an awful lot on the maintenance.
Would you be willing to do, if the board went with this, a new RFP for the items that would fit what the RFP originally called for? So instead of like redoing this page to what we actually need.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely, talk
Okay.
about what the wants and needs are for the site and revise this, definitely.
Okay, and then we have an agreement that went out with the RFP. It was signed, and this is more at the business end, so I guess maybe this would have to be tied with a motion if the board goes forward. So we have an agreement, and then we also have an agreement from your company signed by the owner. They conflict. Are you willing to go with the township's contract as the writing contract?
I don't really think that's something I can answer. We have a whole kind of legal department that reviews any
Okay.
contract before it's signed, so it's really would be up to
So
them.
that would
I
be
don't
okay to
think-
put that with the motion?
Yes.
Okay. Then there was one last thing as I'm pouring over this, and I would love to be able to call in advance, but because of the bid process, I can't. I noticed that there's an Inc., and then there's an LLC. They're mixing, and then the insurance is an LLC. Can we work with one company and that be tied to the motion? And then also the insurance needs to match the company that we're actually going to be working with, because there's two companies here.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely look over the paperwork. It might just be,
Does like one company do one thing and the other does something else, or?
it's all overall company. We actually were bought out like a year ago, so we have a now parent company, so I'm wondering if that's maybe why some of the,
Well, it's listed as both. One's listed as an Inc., and the insurance is
That is
listed
part
as
of the-
LLC, and the W-9 is not matching either. So for tax purposes, I kind of have to make sure everything matches.
I'll have our controller look at that just to make sure all our paperwork.
So if the board goes down this road, that would have to be another contingent
Yeah.
item.
We can take care of that.
When do you plan on starting the job, and how long will it take you to finish?
And I haven't really looked much at our spring schedule, but I think this is something that could be done pretty early in the spring. Just as long as we have time to get, the plants that, if you
So
want to
this-
change designs and stuff, some of that stuff takes time to update and.
So if you
Yeah,
start
we
early
want
spring,
everything.
how long will this take to complete, do you think?
It would be done, I would say, like, probably within a week or so.
A week? That's not bad, because there's a lot of plants in there. Do you anticipate payment being done once the job is complete? Because I couldn't understand, I didn't know where that was going either.
Normally, we request like a 30-day payment, but like I said.
30 day before or 30 day after?
Afterwards.
So payment will be done when the job's complete?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions?
Just to comment, on the map here, some of the numbers are pretty small, so I couldn't see them and stuff like that.
Thanks for my glasses.
Yeah, I had to as well, but I don't know, I still couldn't see a lot of them. But I managed
Colors are
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have gotten it printed out on a bigger sheet, but.
How long does it typically a flowering shrub or some of the perennials, what's their lifespan?
Every plant's kind of different. I mean, some will only last a few days. Like peonies don't really have a long flowering period and include any of those on, but everything else should be Like hydrangeas, the roses, those should go like pretty long throughout the summer, so you should have pretty continuous color.
Oh, I like how you did that. I'm more after, how long does like a rose typically last? 5 years, 10 years, or do they just go
Like
on and on and on? Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, as long as they're, properly cared for, they can last. If they, just.
So they're long range,
Yeah,
okay.
that's it.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you very much. John, could you ask the other? Thank you. Okay. Does anybody on the board have any questions of the first landscape design or anything?
I think
Is it Terry? Does anybody have any questions for Terry on this?
No, good.
Everybody's good on that? Anybody have any questions to ask on the second proposal? Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, does anybody have any discussion then?
They both did a great job, and thank you for postponing for a month. That was very nice of both of you, so thank you.
Okay, you have any further comments? Anybody?
Well, I liked United's plan. I like both of them, but I think United has a nice, a little bit more what I thought we wanted here with the colors and that. I don't know, does the board want to see other plans? I know when we worked on the building, we didn't have a lot of options, so.
Well, the bid was put out, so if we're gonna open it up for more plans, we should open it up to everybody.
That's true. I guess I'm wondering what you all, I like this plan.
So you like the United Landscape Plan?
Yes.
Does anybody else have it? Yes.
As we discussed the other day, there are plans for hopefully in the next year to build a bonfire pit out kind of in the space to the east of the building. My thought is, I think we're kind of piecemealing this, and that if we're going to add different hardscaping out front, I'd rather table this for now, wait till that hardscaping is in, and then relook at it so that it can be, I think a walkway maybe from the community room, there's that little cement pad when you come out those doors, might be appropriate to put a walkway from that cement pad out to the patio because it's supposed to have a fireplace in it.
Yeah, I don't remember where that is actually going to be as far as this plan. Would it impact it, or?
They both were aware that we're gonna put the fire pit out there. I do like the idea of the pavers and stuff, but I think there's room for that.
That I'm looking for possibly a donation on that.
Right, but I just feel like, once again, we're doing something and then either going to have to tear it out, move it, or it's just going to change the impact. So when you drive in, now there's going to be something else there. I just feel like we should wait until that's in. I think we should maybe take a look at the complex as a whole, because we've got a gazebo that needs to be freshened up. We've got a fence that runs along the park. I would like to see, I guess, more of a whole integrated plan of the entire area. I love both designs. I think they had some really great features. I guess I'd like to see, rather than just the township building look nice, for us to take a look at a 360-degree circle.
I think our RFP that we agreed on was just for around the building.
It was supposed to be done in phases, so
Yeah.
this is phase one.
Right.
Can I jump in here? Yeah, I think both designs are really nice. I see where you're coming from, Lori. I have a suggestion. I think we should make it in 2 phases. First phase is to get the building done like the quote originally asked. And the phase 2 is hardscaping, to put some paper bricks out and maybe the gazebo. Maybe that'd be a phase 2. That's what I would propose. I agree with you. I think it's nice if it all, it should have a nice unity look. But let's get the building done, and then we do the rest.
Well, my thing is, you're looking at phase 2, you're looking at me. I'm usually the phase 2, okay? Because, as you know, I'm probably gonna have my volunteers all out putting the fireplace in and finishing the sledding hill and finishing up the baseball field. So, I mean, when am I gonna get to it? I'm hoping in the spring I'll get to it. So you're asking when phase 2, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to finish the project, okay? I have a couple leads on some donations for the actual fireplace and the bricking all around. But I'm hoping to get it done this year, so don't hold up your landscaping on me. That's what I'm trying to say, is because, they work me like a borrowed mule around here, so I can only get so much done, okay? But I do plan on having that done, and the parking lot down below at the baseball field and stuff, I have my wood cutters all lined up. We'll be starting on that shortly. But I can only work so fast, and I'm just saying that you might want to go forward with your landscaping around the building, because if I fall over down there or something, then phase 2 isn't going to get done, okay? But we have a good fire department, so they'll revive me.
Right, we already put this out to bid for phases, so.
So my thing is, I think we should, if you're happy with one of the plans, let's go with one of the plans in the spring and get this part of the building dressed up. And then I will get the second part done, and I'll try to keep in mind, maybe whoever you award the bid with, I'll kind of consult with them when I'm doing the second phase. And I'll see how they can integrate it all into what I'm doing, but like I said, all the stuff that I'm gonna do on this next one is just gonna be with volunteers, so. So if anybody has any motions?
Well, I also wanted to ask what we thought about the maintenance contracts. Should we have?
I would need to decide what motion is going forward, and I'll take it up from there.
Well, I would make a motion that we approve United Landscapes, proposal for the installation of not to exceed 11,925.
Would you be willing to add to your motion that the completion of a contract that is consistent with the township version of a contract to avoid inconsistencies will also be approved, not only for the agreement, but also the RFP for the maintenance agreement as number 1. That agreement will have to be approved by our legal. Number 2, that United identify what entity we are contracting with, because there is an Inc. and an LLC registered with the state. And number 3, that the insurance coverages be verified to apply that to the entity the township contracts with.
Yes.
Thank you.
That was pretty simple.
Yes.
I didn't think you were gonna repeat that, but.
I was writing it down
I
and.
would like that in the motion.
I know you had all the.
But I'm not supporting the motion.
I'll support.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and we have a second. And open up for any more discussion on it. If we have no other discussion on it, I'd like to have roll call on that, please.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
No.
Bennett, no. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Thank you both very much. And thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. It was a great plan also. But we do have to pick one of the 2 plans.
I understand.
And get off center, but thank you very much.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, and we'll get in touch with you too on this, and we'll move forward, okay? If you can get a hold of Pauline at your convenience next week or whatever, or later on this week, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Okay, move on to item number 3, fire department. Boy, chief, you ready?
I'm ready. Lot there.
Okay, we've got what, 3A, B, and C. We'll go through these.
Slight shift of hand.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you, first of all, I'll just say, with the purchase and upcoming, this is the letter that I have from you. With the purchase and upcoming delivery of Addison Township Fire Department's new engine, we need to update the hydraulic power unit and extrication tools that we currently carry on engine number 2. The unit that we have right now does not produce adequate power to cut through the stronger steel on the newer constructed vehicles. The RESQ Tech power unit is the same one we bought over 5 years ago for engine number 1, which still runs perfectly. This unit powers tools with 5,000 PSI capabilities as opposed to the power unit on engine number 2 that runs the Homatro tools at 10,000 PSI.
Yeah, currently right now, we have on engine 1, we have the same exact power unit, hydraulic power unit on engine 1. It works great, there's no problem with it. We can actually work both tools at once. And that unit actually does give us 5,000 PSI, which then in turn makes the hose cheaper and stuff like that. And that's why, if you remember, we asked to have reels already integrated into the new engine, and we have those reels on their 100-foot hoses. So now with the new engine or the old engine we have right now, it has the old set of Homatro tools, which I would have to update those tools anyway, even if we were going to keep with Homatro. But we have Hurst in the newer stuff, so I continue to stay with Hurst on both engines, and that's why I'm asking for the hydraulic power unit to be the same as the one that we have on engine 1.
So on this one, do we have to have a motion to?
Yes, thank you, Jerry. Your explanations on these, they really help out in the board pack. I appreciate that, and the
I
pictures.
try. Sometimes
You do a great
it gets
job.
confusing going back and forth.
I
Because
would
they're
like,
addressed to the fire board, and then I have to have them.
yeah, but it's the
addressed to
same
you.
thing. It works out very
Yeah.
well, so I thank you.
Practice run.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the purchasing ordinance as it's no benefit, and we want to go with something that's matching.
I'll second that.
Any comments? No comments, can we have roll call on that, please?
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, now we'll go for the other motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we purchase Restec Power Unit Maxi MTO from Douglas Safety Systems not to exceed $6,155 from 204-304-974.
Okay, any comments?
I'll support.
Any comments? Can we have roll call on that, please?
Linda Garrett. Yes. Erickson.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher. Yes. Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, okay, that one passes. Now we'll go to B, the hydraulic extrication tool used, the Hurst JL 500 cutter and the Hurst ML28 spreader from Apollo. Fire equipment not to exceed 7,000 from 204-304-974-000. What can you tell me about those super duper tools?
Yeah, so after looking at it, knowing that we need new cutters, first of all, because the old Homatro pair does not cut through the newer A and B post metal that's in there, so we have to get an upgraded one anyway, which we did already on engine 1's set about 3 years ago. So with that, we went out to look, and I was going to go put out the bid, and I started talking to the guy at Apollo, realizing that they have a brand new set of used pair, actually, because this fire department got rid of their hydraulic hoses, and they went with battery operated. Our fire department does not see the advantage of going to battery operated Hurst tools, in which they're really expensive. We said, well, we'd like to have the hydraulic set of tools, and he says, I got a good deal for you. This fire department just traded these in. Would you be willing to buy those? I said, let me take a look at them. I showed you pictures. They are two sets with the holders, brand new pieces. You guys got those in your packet, I think, pictures of the brand new ones. I've inspected them, looked at them. They are worth their money, and it is half the price. We can actually get both of those used cutters and spreaders for a total of $7,000. So I'd ask the board that we go ahead and waive the purchasing ordinance because there is no advantage, and go ahead and purchase these two used sets from Apollo.
Okay,
I would make that motion that we purchase the well, we have
We
to
gotta
read
waive
the
the
purchasing
ordinance,
ordinance
right,
first.
okay, so you make a motion that we waive the purchasing ordinance. Anybody second? We have Eric second. Any comment on that? Nobody? Roll call, please.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Eric Sack.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Lori Fisher. Yes. Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, okay, now we'll move on to the other motion.
Okay, then I would make the motion that we purchase the used Hearst Jail 500 cutter and Hearst ML 28 spreaders from Apollo Fire Equipment, not to exceed $7,000 from 204-304-974-000.
Any comments on that?
Second.
No comments? No comments? Roll call on that, please.
Eric Sack.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes.
I just wanted to also remind the board that all that we just purchased right now was actually from a grant that we received last year from the Methodist Church here, Lakeville Methodist Church, that went out and donated that money. So we were nice, and it was worked out perfect to get those used set and the hydraulic tools for less than that grant was that they gave us. So thank you for that.
Merry
That's what
Christmas.
they wanted that money to go to was the JAWS. So
Thanks to the church.
Okay. And then,
Excuse me for 1 second.
pardon?
I want to go turn the heat up.
We're not gonna be here that long.
Yeah, well, it's getting cold. Thank you, Russ.
It's cold here. We need that fireplace back here that.
I have one more, right?
Yep, you got right at sea.
Thank you for that.
I don't understand, I got my electric socks on and everybody's cold. I'm just trying to save money, you know? So, now item C, approve the schedule of cost, right?
Yes.
The schedule of cost is recovery for the fire department. The new provision is to put a fee on lift assistance. I think you've spoken to me that we're getting called out many, many times, and they're using us as a service for getting people in and out of bed, which is not really what the ambulance service is for.
And I think there is a value for a taxpayer for us to go out there and help out, and we've done this several times for several different people throughout the community, and that's not a problem. But when it becomes 40 times in less than 8 months, I think there's an issue there. So we had to address that. The schedule of costs is something that we bring before the board every year. There's no other adjustments on that. We continued with our Blue Cross and Blue Shield for the ambulance transportation. Those numbers didn't go up much, so I elected not to increase that. But I do have one that I sent a letter explaining what our lift assists are. And I do feel like we should give that service to our residents, but I think we need to put a minimum on that. The other ones that I've looked and searched around, they actually do 5 lift assists without charging. I opted with 8 because our community cares about their fire department, and I figured that we would show the same to them. So 8 lift assists over a 1-year period would be acceptable. Anything over that would be charged at $75.
Now, who do you charge for that? Do you charge
I
their
will
insurance
charge the
company?
homeowner.
The homeowner,
Or
actually.
the person being lifted.
Only for the lift, the rest of it goes to their insurance.
No, when we go, let me explain what a lift assist is, first of all. First of all, there's usually somebody that's handicapped or some kind of disability at home, and they need assistance just getting, like they've fallen down out of bed. We pick them back up and they go on their merry way. We go to the house, we do that, we leave. We don't transport them to the hospital when it becomes a lift assist. So we actually go out to that residence, mitigate the call, more or less, meaning lift them up, help them out, whatever they need, and then we go back to the station. that is not a problem until you get 40 of them in 60 of them within 8 months to one resident.
And I have
Somewhere
spoken
along
with
the line,
you
we have
about
to
that,
draw
that
a
we
line.
have one particular area that one patient 60 times.
That was 50, actually 50 sometimes. We've asked for, ramps and things like that. Finally, we actually just bought a ramp. We were gonna help, well, let me back up first. We actually went out there and talked to the lady, very, the person very rude and not willing to let us help them. Finally, after all this, we just went and bought a ramp ourselves of the association and actually went there and delivered it. Our nice, one of our nice fellow firefighters went there and actually just gave them the ramp, and now they are using that ramp. It is a complicated issue. I don't need to go into any more details, but we did do that, and we have not had any more lately. And with this being said, that I was going to charge. So other things that person has made other arrangements. I'm hoping and maybe use our ramp. We're there to help. Sometimes people just have to accept our help.
I think 8 times is reasonable. I'd like to make a motion to approve the schedule of costs dated 11/3/2017, effective date January 1st, 2018, and to remain in effect until otherwise amended.
I'll support.
Okay, any further comments from the board?
I have a comment. If it's one resident, do we have to put this into place with the $75 charge?
Yes. The reason why I say yes is because in case it does happen again, another year from now, another 2 years from now, something else might happen, but I would like to cover our basis and do that. So, and honestly, we've never had anybody, I shouldn't say never, but we had a few people maybe use 4 or 5 times in a year. That's acceptable, and that's why I went with 8, because I look back at our past records and, our community getting older, and if they needed some help, the wife or the husband needing some help to move their spouse around, we're there to do that for them. I have no problem doing that, but when it comes to that excessive, then we have to do something, and that could happen again. And it could happen, and we just want to be prepared for that day. And then also, and not to enact it, this is not to do that, because we want to help that person out. And the association, the Firefighters Association will help build grants, do whatever we need to do to help them with that problem. So, again, I think we do need to put it in.
I wanted to point out, because maybe this wasn't a case where this person was falling in their home. This was a case where they needed help out of the car and up into their house.
To go shopping.
So it wasn't, they didn't fall outside and really on the floor. This was slightly different.
Well, I'm just worried if we pass it and someone has like 9 times, I just lost my point. But they're on like a fixed income, a lot of seniors with the Social Security and stuff. I think a $75 cost would be kind of excessive for them to pay.
At some point, if you can't get yourself in and out of your house, the fire department offered in this case to build a ramp, you've got to make some provision for getting in and out of your house.
Yeah, and Jacob, if I could please, we've had this happen before where we've assisted that person on our off time with their association and make accommodations for them. So we're not going out there to throw down the hammer and make them pay. If there's a resident here that needs some help, we will be more than willing to help them. And that's why I put it to 8 times versus other communities where I think they are a little more disconnected from their community. Well, we are very helpful for our community, and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And honestly, that is there just for a safety net, not to actually enact.
Well, plus the number 8, the number 8 is, you arrived at that with some research, with some history.
Exactly, with our research.
So,
and our
it gives you a
calls
it's a reasonable number, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Ages ago, when we set up cost recovery, because the only new line is the lift, we also created a way that if somebody does need assistance, there is a way that they can contact the fire department and say, we can't pay it. Otherwise, I'd be right there with you, because our residents that need help. But there is a provision that they can waive the fee if they need it.
And just so you know, I've gone through this. So the bottom line, there are other organizations that are available for this kind of service. And what I'm trying to say is our first responders. We don't want them tied up when there really is an emergency.
And they
So,
want to stay in their home as long as possible.
Right.
I mean, that's just,
We've actually even had the sheriffs help us out a lot on those. I mean, they were out and they mitigated the call without us going, so.
okay, did we have a motion on this?
are you okay, Jim?
Did we have a motion?
Yes.
And we had a second?
Yes.
Is there any further comments? If not, could we have roll call on that one?
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes.
Okay,
And
I
that
have to
passes.
check the it didn't start. You go ahead.
There's one right there, you just passed one.
That one never works right for me.
Well, that's because I cut the wire.
It is cold in here.
It's freezing in here.
Freezing? Well, that keeps you guys awake. I don't want any of you falling asleep.
From the floor, you can feel it.
Yeah. Well, we usually turn the heat off.
No dilly-dallying. Gee, see, give her an inch, she takes a mile. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, the appointments of the Planning Commission, Gino Malaya, appointment for January 31st, 2019, and the Zoning Board of Appeals alternate be Phil Marshall. His appointment would be December 31st, 2020. We just want to reverse these two positions. Anybody have any comments on that? These are my two appointments. No comments? Everybody have a motion?
Motions for these appointments?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to have Gino Malia on the PC through January 31st, 2019, and Phil Marshall as the ZBA alternate through December 31st, 2020.
I'll second that.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Any further comments? And we have, for that one, I think we can just do all in favor, say aye. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that moves on. Introduction of the budget. I'm just giving you the budget here. You can see everything that's there. At this time, I'm not going to go through it page by page. I'd like everybody to take it home with them, study it diligently, 8 hours a day for the next month. And we will then start going through it in January. There's a few items here that you'll notice we had a little increase and on the expenditures, or actually the revenue too, but the expenditures, and the treasurer and I have spoke, and that's just in case we want to spend a little extra on the construction loan, but that would be determined at a later time, but that's just some of the items that you see in there. But I think there's about $70,000 extra in that. But we've discussed it, and being that they're starting to raise interest rates and we have a very reasonable interest rate on loan, we might want to look at that at a later time, but that's one of the things you'll see in there. And I'm not going to go through any more of that right now, only because I want you guys to study it.
Mr. Supervisor, if I could please, the fire department, I'm gonna actually, the fire board that looked at ours mine last month, I will have one to bring to you next month. Approved through the fire board, recommending to the township board. So you'll be able to see mine next month as well.
You can have a nice
I thought you spent all your money already tonight.
No, that's last year's money. They haven't even started on the 2018.
Okay, now, we're moving on to number 6, and that was the, to extend the time limit for the OPC and to extend the reimbursement to January 5th of 18 and extend the sign-up period December 31st of 17. We have two persons that I guess they did pay on time down there, but they didn't get up here on time. And I have one more person, as of last year, as you know, for medical reasons, we authorized that, and hopefully that will come in before the 12/31 deadline. I will say this much, that I know that it's, we did put extra money in it this year, and we have not expended the money to reimburse everybody for their membership down there, so we do have the money in there. But I do understand it's getting a little bit old that we keep extending it. I would recommend that we extend it this time, but we let everybody know that from now on, it will be the dates that we set, because this drags on and on, and
Are these the same people? Pretty much?
No.
Only one. Two of them are different. He has the same one. And then we've also have 2 phone calls that haven't even been addressed in here yet. So that's why I'm proposing just to do a blanket extension. Everything in the letter is going to stay the same, just the dates are going to change.
But just to give you a little background, we haven't spent as much money this time, if you notice, on the,
Yeah, I saw that.
right, so we allocated a lot more money. We haven't even come
It's
close
going
to
to grow though.
that.
I think every year it's going to grow.
Well-
I'd like to make a motion that we approve OPC extensions and to extend open enrollment through December 31st, 2017, with all reimbursement requests must be submitted by January 5th, 2018. And the remaining portion of the letter, the original letter, will stay in effect, and that no further extensions will be allowed.
I'll second that.
But I want to emphasize the no further extensions after.
Yes,
After this
we
year.
will tell people that they're just to say that it's done.
Okay, we had a motion and a second on that. Could we have roll call on that, please?
Yes, Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Eric Sett.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, we'll open it up to public forum now. Anybody in the public want to come forward and speak? If you, yes, come right up here and tell us your name
My
and,
name is Mark Gillum, and my family's in the process of moving into the community, and I just wanted to introduce myself and thank you to the fire department for all the work they do to keep us safe and protect the community, take care of us at our worst times. So, good job of doing all their needs. I had a quick question relating to the injection well. I was reading online about an injection well or two that are in the community, and I'm just curious, how those are approved or monitored, or are they approved through this body here? And has that been shut down? And I've heard a lot of hearsay, and I'm just curious if maybe you could talk to us about that, and also how that relates to the people who are drilling wells and the aquifers and protecting the water resources here.
well, that's a $1,000,000 question there, okay? Normally in public forum, we don't respond, but I will say if you come in and meet with me at a given time, I'll fill you in on everything, because we've had several public hearings on this, and the place has been packed, okay? And right now,
Give them a copy of the resolution, too.
yeah, we'll give you that if you come in and see me, and
I have an appointment.
I think tomorrow, so we'll give you a copy of that. Bottom line is, yes, we are fighting that at the level, but it's not our decision. That's the EPA's decision and the DEQ's decision. And, but we have,
Well, if you're fighting that, good for you.
well, we have done everything we possibly can. It's been a long battle. It has not been just a recent battle. It's been several years. We've been up in Lansing, so, but just to let you know that I can tell you at that time, okay? Normally, we just don't answer in public forum. This is where people get to yell at us and we listen, okay? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else public forum? Nobody else? Any board reports? No board reports?
Well, the zoning board of appeals, we got a new chairperson. John Hatfield left the township, so he resigned. And the new chairperson for the CBA is Trevor Hayward.
Okay. Anybody else? You're the only other person on the board, I think. Nothing? Okay. Well then, now we'll move on to supervisor's report. Well, first of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I hope everybody has a Happy New Year. I'll send you a postcard from Florida.
You going to Florida? You haven't mentioned it.
I know I haven't mentioned it more than 50, 60 times a day, I know. I know you guys are tired of hearing it, but I'll bring back some sand. I would like to thank the road commission. This last storm we had, they did a good enough job that all our people were able to get out.
It's like Christmas.
Very happy with, were you able to get out?
I couldn't believe it. 6, 7, and 8 inches of snow, and our roads are flawless, and I go into Macomb County. It was nice.
You know,
Very
you
nice.
gotta stay on the highway, that's what the problem is, to get in Macomb.
I drive
You cut
those dirt
across
roads.
fields with your Jeep, that's the problem.
Well, it's kind of fun, but I didn't.
But yeah, they did do an excellent job. That's that new policy they have where they hire contractors. They at least made a path through all the back roads, which is great because the kids could not get the Pine Knob on time because they had no school. So you had to make sure that the roads were clear enough. They couldn't make it to school, but they could make it to Pine Knob. So we certainly don't want them to be late for skiing. Other than that, do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
One second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Next time we'll see you is next year.